With unrestricted forces, hit sword on sword, bare feet in the dust, the body numb with pain. The ranks feast on misery. It's a matter of life and death. The life of a slave is worth nothing. The masters always remain unharmed. But 1,000 battered bodies and souls stand up. No one can dampen the joy to fight for their freedom for the first time. Whole legions fall. Roman senators tremble. Whole 3 years of Spartacus uprising, suffocated in blood, but known until today. Freedom. 100,000 throats cry out. An old dream can't be killed. Freedom. 100,000 throats cry out. An old dream can't be killed. Freedom. 100,000 throats cry out, an old dream can't be killed. Freedom. Calloused hands guide the plow. Nothing of the harvest remains to him. The feudal lords revel in pomp and splendor, squeeze peasants with all their might. That they resist in 1525 should teach the clerics and the nobility to be afraid. They fought for paradise on earth. No poor, no rich, all should become equal. At Frankenhausen, the last battle, 6,000 peasants bloodily put down, beaten they go out. We grandchildren fence it out better. Freedom. 100,000 throats cry out, an old dream can't be killed. Freedom. 100,000 throats cry out, an old dream can't be killed. Freedom. 100,000 throats cry out, an old dream can't be killed. Freedom. Even today, not equal. Still poor and rich. Still masters in power. On to the next battle. Even today, not equal. Still poor and rich. Still masters in power. On to the next battle. Dust settles on his lungs. Deep in the shaft is night, even by day. Fearlessly looks death into the face, brings treasures of the earth to the light of day. Nature plundered, miners enslaved under the cold hand of profit. It works, fights every generation. Freedom brings only the revolution. Freedom. 100,000 throats cry out, an old dream can't be killed. Freedom. 100,000 throats cry out, an old dream can't be killed. Freedom. 100,000 throats cry out, an old dream can't be killed.
Herzlichen Dank.
Thank you very much to Ilja and Nico from the band Gehörwäsche and Marian and Fabian from the Los Pueblos with the song Freedom. Dear Gelsenkirchen citizens, dear comrades, dear friends, dear international participants from 31 countries, welcome to the representatives of the press. Welcome to our festivity on 40 years MLPD with the unveiling of a Karl Marx statue. He's been standing there next to Lenin, but of course we can't see him yet. This is a climax. This will go on about 5:30. Such a program becomes more filling. We have a good program that we prepared. At first, the party only became what it is because a lot of comrades were active for many years in the MLPD. Now I request to honor them. A small number of comrades. I would first ask, please, Gabi Fechner, party chairwoman of the MLPD, to come up here. She will talk about. And Ottwin Herzig will also come on stage now.
He has been serving for decades in different positions in the party.
Wofür ist das? Okay. Ja, liebe Gäste unseres Festakts,
dear guests of our ceremony, dear international participants, dear Red Foxes and Rebels, dear comrades, and not last, dear neighbors here from the neighborhood. The fact that we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of the founding of the MLPD, Marxist-Leninist Party of Germany, would of course not be possible without the members who built this party. So celebrating 40 years of the MLPD means, above all, celebrating the people who make up the MLPD. The crisis of capitalist society is also a crisis of bourgeois cadre politics, as you might say, in the leadership of the how people are dealt with. In the leadership of bourgeois parties and parliaments, a scramble for posts is characteristic. The monopolies whine about a lack of skilled workers because they are not willing to train. And it's becoming more and more obvious how profit takes precedence over people in capitalist society. Our comrades are the living proof that it is possible to do things differently. That it is not only the human being per se who is selfish. With us, the human being is in the center, and our comrades are committed with a huge selfless effort to make this principle a social reality. They personally, but also our attitude to the people, how we deal with each other, how the comrades are promoted and trained, but also challenged, and all their potentials are developed, stand for the communist ideal of freedom, according to which the individual develops in unity with the freedom of all. That is exactly why we want to use today's ceremony to honor comrades for their commitment to the MLPD. We can only do this here as representatives, of course. Excuse me, in case I have forgotten everything, but we gave ourselves the effort to have comrades to honor comrades representatively here, and where thousands and thousands of colleagues every single one of the thousands of comrades and colleagues in the environment of the last 50 years have left their marks. Besides the fact that we do not have the time to honor all of them, we would like to continue this celebration for a few days, but we have to keep in time. It's also a fact. It's of course that the fact that we cannot publicly present some of them here because our comrades are always subject to special reprisals. For example, in the many workers and companies where they work. And those in the background are therefore not less important. And we have them also in our thoughts on this big stage. Representing all of you, we honor today the comrades who have been members of the MLPD and its predecessor organization, KABD, for the last 50 years, and those who have made special contributions to the leadership of the party in the last 40 years. Many of you were at that time hardly older than our rebels of today. Together with Willy Dickhut, you drew the conclusion from the betrayal of socialism in former socialist countries and the accompanying revisionist degeneration of the then KPD, and built a party of a new type. You began your work in the late 1960s and the 70s in a situation when the social mainstream was still that socialism had failed historically and capitalism had prevailed forever. It even became fashionable at that time to question that to be leftist, rebellious, and ML, but to build up a proletarian party, a workers' party of a new type, with such a solid foundation, an ideological, political line, and proletarian organizational principles, that is something else altogether, and a real masterstroke. This required a profound and unfolding ideological struggle and tireless, systematic, rank-and-file work, often in the face of headwinds. And it was worth it. Not only is the survival of capitalism it's becoming more obvious that capitalism will not survive. Today, the MLPD has become an unmistakable factor in society as a whole, and socialism is gaining new appeal. We saw this morning at the demonstration here in the neighborhoods. Long live international solidarity.
Dazu habt ihr wesentlich beigetragen.
You have made a significant contribution to this, and we want to thank you sincerely for that.
Ist ein Ansporn.
Your life's work is an incentive, orientation, and challenge for the youth of the world to dedicate their lives to the most glorious thing in the world, the liberation of mankind. This is also your life's work, and we are glad that we can still work together so energetically on our work. We start with the comrades who have been members of the MLPD and its predecessor organization, Communist Workers' League of Germany, for 50 years and more. They together, for the first time, are receiving a golden pin for 50 years of membership, which was produced extra for today's occasion. These are
eine junge Frau aus der
a young woman from the Lüneburg Heath, Ilse from Hanover, who organized herself in the KBD 50 years ago. Unfortunately, she cannot take part because of illness, but we wanted to honor her. And all of them who cannot appear today for reasons of health, their local groups will take the needle with them. And I'm sure someone from Hanover will be coming. Then we have Gottfried Schweitzer from Leverkusen. A member for 53 years. He was a well-known leader of the 1968 student movement, very well known in Tübingen at that time, and is still an activist with over 70 years in youth work today.
Franz Stockert.
Franz Stockert.
Franz Stockert kam als junger Elektriker
joined
52 Jahren
the KBD as a young electrician 52 years ago and contributed with great dedication to party building, especially in internationalist work and the Rote Fahne editorial office.
Manfred Setter.
Manfred Setter
hat sich vor 51 Jahren als junger Arbeiter
decided 51 years ago as a young worker.
Okay. Manfred Setter hat sich vor 51 Jahren als junger Arbeiter in einem
as a young worker in a large factory in Schweinfurt to build the Revolutionary Party in Germany. As an internationalist, he was involved in the construction of the healthcare center in Kobane.
Martin Schlesinger.
Martin Schlesinger.
Hat vor 51 Jahren
gave up his law studies 51 years ago
sich als Pionier
and became a pioneer as one of the first publishing directors of Neuer Weg, of the publishing house, and has been active ever since then without looking or noticing his age of 75. Karin Glaser,
aus Ulm,
member from Ulm, is a member for 50 years. Since then, our communist ideal of freedom has shaped her life. Also in the indomitable struggle against the Ulm liquidators in the early years of party building.
Frieda Haasch.
Frieda Haasch.
Frieda Hasch hat sich als junger Arbeiter vor 50 Jahren
decided as a young worker 50 years ago for revolutionary work and worked for many years responsibly in the control of the treasury, a task without which socialism cannot be fought for. Unfortunately, for reasons of illness, Dieter Klaut cannot come, who has been a revolutionary organizer for 53 years, helped to build up our print shop as a printer, and today is one of the most profound experts on any dispute surrounding Stalin, and is working on his biographical reflections.
Nicht über seine eigene, sondern zum
Not his own, but his reflections on Stalin.
Irene Brandt.
Irene Brandt.
Hat sich vor 50 Jahren
decided 50 years ago to dedicate her life to the revolution, worked for decades in a central position in party building, and is today at 85, you can't really see it, is one of our oldest, with 85, is one of our oldest still active comrades.
A
little younger, we had a birthday, is Frank Berger from Düsseldorf. Frank Berger, as a class struggle factory worker and functionary of the first hour, he helped shape the building of KABD and MLPD for 50 years now. He was the political leader of KABD directly before Stefan Engel. Now, 80 years old, he stands, health permitting, in front of the Daimler Gate in Düsseldorf. Stefan Brandt developed cultural skills as a student in the KABD theater group Roter Zünder. He was a member of the Central Committee and contributed to many important central tasks. The following comrades have earned special merit because they performed leading central tasks in party building from the first hours of party building until today. For them, in particular, the saying coined by Willy Deckut applies that the strongest fight all their lives. And they are Klaus Arnecke,
Klaus Arnecke,
a party member for 53 years, happily gave up his architectural studies for a working-class life. He has been a member of the Central Committee of the MLPD almost continuously until a short time ago, since 1972, from the founding of KABD, and recently, and has been a member of the editorial collective Revolutionärer Weg, from the mid-1970s until today, many years in close cooperation with Willy Deckut, then with Stefan Engel. From a doctor of archaeology to an electrician underground and an active fighter of the important struggles of the miners. This is certainly a unique career that Klaus Wallenstein has made. In the 53 years of his party membership, above all, he already built up the KPD in Tübingen, and then the MLPD was in the central leadership and the central committee for decades from the beginning, and is still active in central tasks today. Last but not least, he is an internationally known representative of the MLPD, especially on the Indian subcontinent. For reasons of health, Sigi Renz was not able to come. He is from Duisburg. He organized himself as an apprentice at Bosch in Stuttgart, and since then, in 52 years of party membership, he always played a leading role in many tasks contributing to party building. Until today, at the age of 72, he contributes to the processing of the experiences of the history of the MLPD in the editorial office Revolutionärer Weg, and is the moderator of the Duisburg Monday demonstration, and is well loved. Many thanks to you. For you, the song, and for us all, that was written at the time of the party foundation, Hammer or Anvil. Here's the hammer.
Komm mit, bleib nicht stehen, selber Hand anlegen, mit eigener Sache, mit eigenem Plan und Ziel, mit unserer Partei den Kampf jetzt vorwärts bewegen. Hammer.
Become a hammer. Whoever does not want to remain to be an amboss, you have to take up the work for party building. Next, we want to honor comrades with special merits at the top of the party, even if they have not yet been members for 50 years. Who better to start with than Stefan Enger? And it is a special pleasure for me to honor him today. Stefan was a party leader of the MLPD. Some of you were not even born then or planned, for a total of 37 years without interruption from 1979 to 2017, when for 54 years he is a revolutionary, and since the founding of the MLPD, member of the Central Committee, without interruption. What many of you might not know, when Stefan was at that time proposed as a young industrial worker to be a party chairman, this was not without controversy. He was only 25 years old. Today, we can say, dear Stefan, that we are very glad about that decision. That was important and showed the correct path, but are groundbreaking. With his proletarian way of thinking, working, and living, Stefan has essentially shaped the character of an MLPD as the party of a new type. Willy Dickhout once said, the role of the personality has a great significance in the closest connection with the masses and the revolutionary mass movement, because the idea becomes material force when it seizes the masses. And we can say this in this case. For many of us, he is not a part, but he represents the MLPD as its head, heart, and face. He is that precisely because he does not put his person in the center, but is a pronounced team player and, what's more, very unpretentious. The ability to get the whole collective wisdom, all abilities out of everyone, and to promote and carry out contradictions completely, and to come from it to a higher common progress of knowledge, and to fight it through practically in a uniform action. This is the leadership style which moves and leads masses, and this is also what will become the whole society reality in socialism, whole social reality in socialism. With this style of leadership, Stefan has certainly trained hundreds of comrades, always paying special attention to the education of youth. For groundbreaking youth projects like the Whitsun Youth Meeting and the Rebellious Youth Festival, he was the idea generator. But even more important is the training of rebellious and revolutionary youth to think and act independently in countless workshops at summer camps, dialectic seminars, study weeks. Stefan never complained about weaknesses or mistakes, or that he never wavered. He never complained. He too had to fight hard for many things as a worker who was not exactly born to lead a party in this society. With iron self-discipline, he acquired the dialectical method, mastered it in theoretical and practical work, and is its best trainer. Stefan was a leading participant and active advisor in the pioneering workers' struggles of the last 40 years. In the Reich railway strike in Berlin, in the struggle to keep the steel works at Krupp-Rheinhausen, in the great miners' strike of 1997 with the occupation of highways and waterways, in the 2004 strike at Opel in Bochum. His unshakable class standpoint as a worker gives him a sure compass. Any kind of opportunism is deeply repugnant to him. His unwavering fight against it is exactly what the workers' movement needs today. The danger of Stefan Engel for the rulers has not remained hidden from them, and so the Office for the Protection of the Constitution has put him on the wanted list in 2019. The many anti-communist repressions have not intimidated him for a second. Stefan is a role model in this steadfastness and hardness, and we express our full solidarity with him today. Under Stefan's leadership, from the very beginning of party building, a struggle was waged to unite Marxists, Leninists, and revolutionaries worldwide. He was the first main coordinator of ICOR, which today organizes and coordinates the cooperation of revolutionaries around the world. And that's something you have to accomplish in something that was till then a very split and divided revolutionary movement, and very differently composed. Another excellent, outstanding achievement is that he has been the leading the editorial office of Revolutionärer Weg, Revolutionary Way, the theoretical organ of the MLPD, for 31 years now, and took over from Willy Dickhut at that time, quite rightly. Stefan is appreciated today in the international Marxist-Leninist movement as one of the most important workers' theoreticians of our time. Of this far-sighted clarity of our 37 editions of the book series Revolutionary Way is not at all really conscious to some young rebels. Worldwide, this is unique, and we are envied for it from many countries and parties, because many revolutionary fighters of the world have also made the painful experience where we can lead. Where it can lead if revolutionary movements have no clear goal direction and ideological orientation. His theoretical work stands for the all-round development of Marxism, Leninism in its three sides. Thus, he was leading that party, and working class always had a clear orientation and a solid basis. Stefan is a revolutionary revolutionary fighter, and his strength is just this unity of theory and practice, the close connection with the national and international class struggle, the creative processing of the collective experiences. Stefan enters into every struggle with joy. Many of you are familiar with that or have experienced that with pleasure in every dispute and discussion. In addition to courage, optimism, and a fighting spirit, he possesses a pronounced empathy and can present even complicated issues in a convincing and understandable manner. It is not for nothing that his events are always immediately sold out, because he speaks in such a way that the workers understand him. Thus, he is also a recognized advisor to the comrades in all questions of life. Stefan is a person who is very down to earth. Everyone who knows is that he is very down to earth and is very modest, and who stands in the middle of life and always approaches work from the point of view of the questions to be solved. If they are here, the Mark traders over at Josef Bücherplatz, for example, with whom he likes to trade, can confirm this. He's very surprised that he writes books, but they also buy it. A spokesman, buy his books, yes, and a spokesman for the miners' newspaper Vortrieb. He is closely connected with the miners' movement and its culture. Hugo Hago is one of his best friends with whom he particularly enjoys socializing. Dear Stefan, today the whole big celebration of our 40th party anniversary wishes you for your decades of work, which has significantly shaped our party building. We wish to be able to continue this, and that we will heartfelt revolutionary work with you for a long time, and that you will be in good health. Stefan, you are getting this present from us of a photo collage of the last 47 years. Dear comrades, thank you very much for this honor. I'm a little surprised that such a long speech was held about me, but I would like to pass on these thanks to the many comrades who in the course of time I cooperated with, not only those who were the members the whole time. Some of them in between decided to leave the party, and some came back again. I want to thank all of them, all of them, even for a certain time, made a certain contribution and struggled together with us. I have acquired a certain method. I know that no person can have so many capabilities that you need as a party leader and in the leadership of the party if it does not have the support of people who teach him these abilities. I'd like to thank especially Klaus Fove. He has been dead for many years. He was my first assistant in the Central. He was a professor at the university in Tübingen, and he was my assistant. He helped me. I had to learn good German. I spoke a dialect in Thüringen, and he could speak English fluently. When English letters came, he could translate them directly. He also had a thick book. He came in the afternoon and from Babewakian, and the next morning he came back and he already did a summary summary of 10 pages of this book. These are capabilities which I don't have, and there are many comrades and those who are here too. My first trainer was my first trainer. He was the head of the publishing house. I didn't have any function. I was a literature responsible for my group, and he taught me. Do you still know? You remember? How you do literature storage place, and for months, every month, we sold for 1,200 marks for in a month. He was my first trainer, and then I worked together with Klaus Anneke for a long time. He over there was the first political officer. These are capabilities I learned from other people. You can learn everything. You don't have to be proud. You have to be supported by people. We don't need stars who raise themselves above others. We need a collective. We need the collective wisdom, the collective work, and a very deep going solidarity. We don't need people who know everything better. We need a joint goal and a joint path, and that is what I experienced. That's the key of our party, and this radiance, this is the future, and this is the party of the future. I'm firmly convinced our path is not so easy, but let's keep to it, and I wish you everything well for this path. And my special pleasure is that 5 years ago, when I said I can't accomplish this work anymore, I'm becoming a pensioner, I'm retiring, and then in the secretary we thought about who is going to be my successor, and then she had already been in the secretariat for 17 years and as a young worker, and we did a change of generations, and people said, "Oh my God!" But it was wonderful. There was a continuation of the work, and Gabi does this work very wonderfully. I would not be able to do that anymore today, and that fills me. A short time ago, someone wrote me a letter, a former member. I was an aging revolutionary, he wrote to me, who has forgotten his life goals and is always just calling people anti-communist. I did reach the goal of my life. I am completely satisfied what we have done. This is the revolution. This is maybe I will not experience the revolution, but the party that we experience, that's a goal for life. That is, and these are people that we have to train and raise, and this is a continuous way. And that man who wrote to me did not understand much. I wrote a fitting an answer to this. This is the goal of my life. It is continuing continuously. This generation is very important to me, and I wish this party good and stable work. And to all comrades who in the past or for a certain time worked together with me, thank you very, very much. Okay.
So, jetzt bitte ich die Bühne eine Genossin, die ihr wahrscheinlich auch.
Welcome on stage a comrade that you all well know, Monika Gärtner-Engel.
Monika Gärtner-Engel war viele Jahre lang
Monika Gärtner-Engel was deputy political director of the MLPD for many years, an active revolutionary for 49 years, and a member of the MLPD Central Committee for 28 years. Born in Swabia, she moved with her whole family to Solingen in 1986 because the publishing house Neuer Weg, where she worked at that time, time, moved to Düsseldorf.
In diesen Solinger Jahren
During the Solingen years, Monika worked intensively with Willi Dickhut,
Gründer der MLPD
the mastermind and co-founder of the MLPD,
gut mit der Familie Dickhut
and was good friends with the Dickhut family.
Monika scheut sich vor nichts.
Monika is not afraid of anything.
Wenn sich neue Aufgaben stellen,
When new tasks present themselves, she tackles them.
Pionierin der Frauenarbeit,
She is a pioneer of the women's work of the MLPD,
Triebkraft,
a role model and driving force for the advancement of women in the party,
Ideen gegen
but also a source of ideas for the non-party women's movement,
Frauenverbands
the
Courage,
Women's Association Courage,
Frauenpolitischer Ratschlag,
the Women's Political Council, and finally the World Women's Conference,
Tunesien beginnt.
which will take place next week in Tunisia.
Als Stefan Engel aus
When Stefan Engel could no longer carry out the function of the main coordinator of the ICOR
führen konnte,
for health
die
reasons,
Aufgabe gestellt,
she took up the task and was elected main coordinator
sagt, im Kreise von fast ausschließlich männlichen Revolutionären
in 2016 in the circle of exclusively male revolutionaries,
zum
has won great respect there.
der ICOR gewählt. Sie hat sich dort großen Respekt erkämpft und arbeitet mit großer Entschlossenheit für den Aufbau einer
She has
internationalen
won great respect there and works with great determination for the building of an international anti-imperialist and anti-fascist united front.
wie etwa beim Kampf der Opelaner
Monika is closely linked to the workers' movement, as in the struggle of the Opel workers for their Bochum plant, or in the struggle of the miners' movement against the scorched earth policy.
Kommunalpolitik. Sie war hier
Monika is also a pioneer of Marxist-Leninist municipal politics and was for many years a city councillor for the non-party personal election alliance Aufgelsenkirchen,
Partei.
to the horror of the bourgeois parties.
Monika ist für viele Freunde, Genossen und
Monika is an indispensable advisor for many friends, comrades and colleagues in all matters of life.
Fühlungsvermögen,
She has an empathy for people's worries and needs
behandelt
and
jedes
treats every problem with a distinct proletarian argument culture
sodass man
that after a consultation with her, one always comes out strengthened and sure of what to do next.
Monika ist auch eine engagierte Förderin,
Monika is a dedicated promoter of young talent,
nicht nur im Generationswechsel an der
not only in the generational change at the top of the party, but also on a very everyday basis in the promotion of young comrades through discussions,
Kritik und
principled criticism and self-criticism, training and study consultations.
so ein engagiertes
Such a committed and revolutionary life naturally also brings opponents onto the scene.
Schutz bis
From the Office for the Protection of the Constitution to fascist, cowardly death threats,
davon nie
Monika has not let this get her down,
ihr unsere
and we continue to assure her of our full solidarity. Dear Monika, thank you very much.
Ja, vielen herzlichen Dank für die Solidarität.
Many thanks, not only for the solidarity, but for the many years of collaboration.
Relativ spät in die zentrale Funktion
I entered the central work at a late stage that had the reason that in our society as a woman and a working woman and mother of three, hard to educate children, it was not that easy to bring that all together. But that was also part of the women's promotion, and since then I really enjoyed working on a central level. Today I had an event. I said it's a dialectical addition to what Stefan Engel said yesterday and today. He thanked everyone who maybe only joined us a few years of the way, and I totally agree to that. Nonetheless, I have a dialectical addition, supplementary. Under the slogan MLPD, I still have some questions. And this was wonderful, and I would like to ask everyone to become a member of the MLPD, to struggle together with us many years, and we are comfortable situation to find the right position for each and everyone according to their abilities, their health condition, and to go beyond the limits, and even those who were absent for years are welcome to join us again.
Ich habe die Monika nicht etwa vergessen.
I did not forget Monika. Monika was my deputy for 20 years in leading the Central Committee, and today is together with me in the editorial staff of the Revolutionary Way. In 1994, we were closely and personally connected, and we have a similar wavelengths. And I learned how to cope with people who are a little complicated. I did not mean her, but intellectual people is sometimes a little complicated. They like to show off that they know more or better educated. But Monika has a fine and delicate sense for people, and I could learn a lot from her. That is very important. That as a workers not only get along with workers. I never had a problem to get along with workers. I was always among workers. I always had problems with intellectuals if they always know better, or start a new debate and everything, and discuss for many hours before they start working a single hour. And Monika has a good and delicate sense for those people. She also changed the party, and especially the work in non-party affiliated organizations and women's organizations or municipal organizations. This relies on Monika's work. Even though she only started on a central level at the age of 44, she had to raise her kids. She did a great effort for the party. Many thanks. And still my best friend today.
Ja, ihr habt euch vielleicht jetzt schon gefragt, wer der
Maybe you asked yourself,
ist, der hier die ganze Zeit am Mikrofon
who's the nice young man at the microphone? For everyone
auch Ottwin Herzig.
who don't know him, we honor Ottwin Herzig.
Schön. Ottwin ist seit 1970 in der
Ottwin, a member of the Revolutionary Youth since 1970, has always taken central responsibility as a professional revolutionary for 43 years, especially in the independent control activity as an essential lesson from the history of the international workers' movement against the danger of revisionism.
Ottwin ist auch sehr kenntnisreich in der Geschichte der Arbeiterbewegung, ein guter Freund und Kumpel.
He's an internationalist and closely linked to the miners' movement, and a special fan of Argentina. He's closely linked to the miners' movement. Ottwin, thank you for everything.
Ich bitte jetzt Reinhard Funk auf die Bühne.
I ask Reinhard Funk onto the stage.
Reinhard ist als junger Arbeiter
Reinhard became a member as a young worker 45 years ago, moved to Hagen soon after and became a steel worker, and has been a stable factor in the political leadership of the Central Committee over all these years, taking the lead in a wide range of tasks, whether in guidance and control, factory and union work, or active popular resistance.
Herzlichen Dank, Reinhard.
Thank you, Reinhard.
Günther Slave.
Günther Slave.
Günther Slave war zuerst
Günther Slave was first chairman of the RJVD Revolutionary Youth League of Germany and was elected to the central leadership by our members for 43 years during his 45 years of membership. Apart from Stefan, he's the only one who has been continuously in the Central Committee. He has responsibly fulfilled this function all these years without fluctuations, combined with many moves, always to where it was crucial for party building.
Vielen Dank, Günther.
Thank you, Günther.
Unser Genosse Anton Lenz, besser bekannt als Toni Lenz,
our comrade Anton Lenz, better known as Tony, has been a party member for 37 years and was active in our student organization for many years before that. For decades, Tony shaped the Gelsenkirchen District Association, especially the party's youth work, helped organize the youth magazine, summer camps and Witzan youth meetings, and coached an entire generation of rebels. After 23 years in the Central Committee, he has been seriously ill in hospital since last year and unfortunately will not recover. This is a big loss, great loss for the MLPD. We present the tribute to Tony, to his wife, Michaela. Tony, we celebrate you today too.
Achim Zülwig
has been a member for 49 years and as a printer and professional revolutionary helped to build up the party in a leading position. He was able to enjoy the training of Willy Dickhut in the process. He was for many years in central and leading functions of the party and in the control activity. There were also severe setbacks which he worked through with his collectives in our development law of criticism and self-criticism, and ultimately always fought his way through to continue to assume responsibility. Thank you, Joachim.
Sabine Lison.
Sabine Lison.
Ihr seht sie hier.
Sitting in front.
Sabine Lison leistet mit tiefer Überzeugtheit,
with deep conviction of the socialist perspective, has made a decisive contribution to party building for 42 years despite serious illness. She was from She was for many years one of the leading and stable comrades within the Central Committee and a leading head of the theoretical work involved in the editorial revolutionary way. She's a role model to fight through even when seriously ill. Many thanks, Sabine.
Sabine
was my first assistant as a head of the youth organization. And the students' organization said she cannot do it, she's very ill. And I took her under my wing and carried her up the stairs. That was 77 to 79, and she has a big discipline and revolutionary enthusiasm. A big role model for our youth. All the best, Sabine, and thank you.
Dieter Ilius.
Dieter Ilius has led the party for 46 years, in many years in the Central Committee, and has made an important contribution to the development of our revolutionary line, as well as in the practical construction. He has moved to Gera for the East construction, still in the advanced age. He has worked for decades on the theoretical organ revolutionary way. Thank you, Dieter.
Joachim Griesbaum.
Joachim Griesbaum. Joachim Griesbaum, now citizen of Hamburg, came to the KABD as a young worker in 1979 in critical confrontation with the petty bourgeois opportunist student movement. And he was the leader of my group, was for a long time in the Central Committee, has led it in many tasks such as the factory and trade union and internationalism work, and is today a face of the ICOR in Europe.
Roland Meister.
Roland Meister.
Roland Meister aus Essen.
Roland Meister from Essen started to build up a revolutionary, well-known law office more than 40 years ago. For many years, he headed the internationalism department of the Central Committee and has been a well-known and highly respected representative of the MLPD for decades, especially among Kurdish and Turkish revolutionaries. Many thanks, Roland.
Agathe Zillwig.
Agathe Zillwig.
Agathe Zillwig aus Witten
from Witten gave up her job as a teacher and has been tirelessly engaged in Central Party building for more than 40 years. Was for many years in the Central Committee and until today in the Red Flag editorial office. Thank you, Agathe. And though we still have a corona pandemic, unfortunately, she has recovered. Anna Bartolome is known to many as a journalist for the Red Flag newspaper magazine. She has been a leader with her work building the Revolutionary Party for 43 years and is still active today internationally and in the party's basic work.
Oskar Finkbohner.
Oskar Finkbohner from Bochum was one of the first Marxist-Leninists to be banned from teaching because of his worldview. For many years and to this day, he is a member of the editorial staff of Revolutionary Way. Many thanks, Oskar. Peter Raps from Karlsruhe supported party building from his youth on before he became a party member 45 years ago, and as a trained physicist and engineer took on leading responsibility in central tasks for decades. Many thanks, Peter.
Wolf-Dieter Rochlitz.
Wolf-Dieter Rochlitz. Wolf-Dieter has been a party member for 44 years and has been active in leading leadership roles for 40 years. He helped develop the dialectic courses and contributed his cultural skills. He is a pioneer of work among farmers, having himself grown up on a farm. Back to the roots.
Veit Müller.
Veit Müller.
Veit Müller hat in seiner
For the longest time in his 47 years of membership, Veit Müller helped lead the party in the Central Committee and was especially active in internationalism. Even today, at the age of 81, he takes care of international literature distribution and is a teacher of young comrades. Thank you, Veit.
Renate Voss.
Renate Voss.
Renate Voss ist das Küken unter den Urgesteinen.
Renate Voss is the chick among the veterans. She has only been a member since 1992, but is still a veteran because she could not have been a member earlier. She is a comrade of the first hour in the party building of the MLPD in East Germany. She was a shipyard worker there. We honor her together with two other comrades from Eastern Germany as a representation for all the comrades that we won in East Germany. She was a shipyard worker, got to know the party in 1992 during the anti-fascist demonstrations in Rostock-Lichtenhahn. And she got to know the MLPD because the MLPD fought the fascists and did not blame the people that lived there in Rostock for the fascist pogroms. Since then, she always taken on responsible tasks. From that region is also Karl-Heinz Schulze. Karl-Heinz is from Sassnitz, is known everywhere as Kalle from Rügen. He became our first member on the East Sea member on the island of Rügen. His love for writing and to photograph and became one of the first red flag correspondents in Eastern Germany.
Gerd Schröter.
Gerd Schröter.
Gerd Schröter aus Halle an der Saale
Gerd Schröter from Halle an der Saale became a member 20 years ago. with his high discipline, his ability to convince against the revisionist betrayal, and his knowledge, he is a role model, especially for young people and rebel.
Eine besondere Freude ist uns heute,
we're especially happy special pleasure to celebrate today the first woman in the central leadership of the KABD, Regina Ehrensberger. Regina has been a member for 42 years, was active in the first Central Committee, and for decades at the central level of the MLPD. In recent years, she has been especially committed to uniting the miners. Thank you, Regina.
Dazu muss ich noch kurz was sagen. Also
I have to say a little thing. You see that out of the older pioneers, there's a large number of men, but Regina was really a pioneer of promoting women on central level. And today in our central committee, there's 53% are women. So all of those that we honored here, we have a song medley of our band as a sign of the revolutionary character as a workers' party of a new type, the Reichsbahnerlied of the strike of the train workers, and afterwards, for all honor, we sing the Song of the Earth.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hotte sagt, da muss doch mal was laufen. Jetzt ist Schluss, die Räder stehen still. Diese Herren wollen uns für dumm verkaufen, doch wir werden trotzdem auf die eigene Kraft vertrauen. Die Kumpels von der Eisenbahn, die streiken um den Lohn. Und Hotte ist der Chef der Lok, der macht sich nicht davon. Die Überstunden schicken ihm, die Piepen reichen nicht. Und die Kumpels sind sich einig, Widerstand ist Pflicht. Hotte sagt, da muss doch mal was laufen. Jetzt ist Schluss, die Räder stehen still. Diese Herren wollen uns für dumm verkaufen, doch wir werden trotzdem auf die eigene Kraft vertrauen. Denn nahe, viel näher als ihr es begreift, steht diese Zukunft bevor. Ich sah, wie sie zwischen den Saaten schon reift, die Schatten vom Antlitz der Erde schon streift und greift zu den Sternen empor. Ich weiß, dass von Sender zu Sender bald fliegt die Nachricht vom Tag, da die Erde genast. Dann schwelgt diese Erde erlöst und beglückt in Reichtum ohne Maß. Voll Hunger und voll Brot ist diese Erde, voll Leben und voll Tod ist diese Erde, in Armut und in Reichtum grenzenlos, gesegnet und verdammt ist diese Erde, von Schönheit verumflammt ist diese Erde und ihre Zukunft ist herrlich und groß.
The future of our world is wonderful and great.
Ja, einen herzlichen Dank nochmal an
Thank you to all of you, comrades who were honored here today. When someone asks, what is the MLPD? This is the MLPD. But fitting to this, the birthday greetings of our Youth League Rebbe with Anna Fehringer, the leader of Rebbe. Dear comrades, dear friends, we would like to take this opportunity to wish you and the MLPD, to congratulate you to the 40th birthday from the Youth League Rebbe and the children's organization Red Foxes. This honoring was very impressive, and all the comrades who are standing here today are role models for the youth because they decided to dedicate their lives to for the future, the revolution. In our society, people try to encourage the youth just to make a career and to just have be an individual good. And these comrades stand for the fact that there is nothing better than to dedicate one's lives for the liberation of humankind and to liberate this world and for the liberation of oppression and exploitation, to put an end to it. Today, it is not only we are only against the war, but also for solution. And we want to continue this path of revolutionary party building. And at this point, we want to give our present to the MLPD for the birthday. And this is... This fits to the Karl Marx statue, a portrait of Karl Marx. We would like to give it to you. We painted this together with Rebellen, and this is our present for the 40th birthday.
Herzlichen Dank.
Okay, thank you.
Wir gratulieren hier noch weiter.
We'll continue to congratulate you. And now, of course, the question is, what would be a celebration without a celebrating speech, ceremonial speech? That would not be complete. Then the statue could not be put in the framework of the times. And we'll have a speech soon, and now we'll just add another song.
Da sehen wir schon Gehörwäsche heraneilen.
Okay, we're seeing the music group Gehörwäsche coming.
Uns jetzt welches Lied singen?
And what song? They'll sing the song "A Communist" by Ulja and Nico from the band Gehörwäsche. Take it.
Kaltes Wasser gefriert zu Eis, hart wie Stein, wie jeder weiß.
Cold water freezes, becomes like a stone, but if you boil it, opposites are part of the development of the world. Development of the world is much more complicated. Don't you get the feeling it's getting even more confused? Money rules the world. Everyone knows. Why not change it? Because it's always been that way. Nothing's always been like that. Nothing's staying as it is. You want to continue like that? You'll become a communist. Nothing's always been as it is. Nothing stays as it is. If you want to continue like that, you're going to be a communist. If I go to work, sweating, others cash in. Everyone knows that. These opposites are in unity of struggle. Unity and struggle. Don't talk about class struggle. Transformation for me is the sign of the day.
Ich plädiere für Ideologiefreiheit.
I plead for freedom of ideology. We're being exploited. That's not neutral. Changing this is the choice we take. Nothing's been always like it is. Nothing stays as it is. If you want to continue like that, you'll be a communist. Nothing's always been as it is. Nothing stays as it is. If you want to continue like this, you're gonna end up as a communist. We can liberate the world. It's not only turning in circles. United we're strong, we'll prove that. There's a ghost. And if there is this ghost, the anti-communist is doing slander in the background. Don't want to dampen your enthusiasm, but you don't want to fight together with the red ones? This dividing wall is swaying. Let's smash it. And the path to freedom will be there. Nothing stays as it is forever. That's why I take the lead. I'm a Marxist-Leninist. Nothing has always been like that. Nothing stays as it is. That's why I take the lead. I'm a Marxist-Leninist.
Nichts war schon immer und nichts bleibt wie es ist. Darum gehe ich voran, bin Marxist-Leninist.
Herzlichen Dank an Nico und Ulja von der Band.
Thank you, Nico and Ulja from the band Gehörwäsche. Now we welcome the Gabi Fechtner, chairwoman of MLPD, for the festive speech.
Liebe Gäste, liebe Freundinnen,
Dear guests, dear friends, neighbors from Gelsenkirchen, dear comrades, we thought this 40th anniversary of our party is actually a good occasion for our friend Lenin to get some company from Karl Marx. This will show both of our of the people who gave us our name. From their first breath, the Marxist-Leninists have been in fierce conflict with the ruling capitalist classes and their defenders. Marx's opponents at that time already attacked him, saying that Marxism was stillborn, while capitalism, on the other hand, would bring freedom and prosperity to mankind. Lenin's opponents were, on the other hand, convinced that the Bolsheviks were a ridiculous bunch who will never succeed with their goals. The founders of MLPD were counted in this tradition by saying their project would be a stillborn. That was what the Secret Service of Germany said. Capitalism would now existed without crisis even, and real socialism had failed, they said. What can I tell you? Turned out so different than these bourgeois politicians and ideologists predicted. They stand before the shambles of their world outlook now, which serves no other purpose than to justify their rule of a minority over the majority. Already in the manifesto of the Communist Party, Karl Marx, by contrast, called the history of industry and commons, I quote him, the history of the revolt of modern productive forces against modern conditions of production, against the property relations that are the conditions for the existence of the bourgeoisie and of its rule. He ingeniously predicted the crisis-ridden nature of capitalism. Society suddenly finds itself put back into a state of momentary barbarism. It appears as if a famine, a universal war of devastation, had cut off the supply of every means of subsistence. And why? Because there is too much civilization, too much means of subsistence, too much industry, too much commerce. And how does the bourgeoisie get over these crises? On the other hand, by preparing a more general crisis and reducing the means to prevent that. End of quote. What an apt description of the dilemma of today's bourgeois crisis managers. Marx was right in his predictions. Today, we live in a time in which the imperialist world system is destabilizing at an accelerated rate. When we honor Karl Marx and Lenin today and celebrate the 40th anniversary of the MLPD, we do not revel in nostalgic memories or even better days, the good old days. We consciously, deliberately placed Marx and Lenin on the way to school for hundreds of children and young people who go to the school over here. People in Horst call this law the new lawn. And it's not only the position, but the message that we have today. It's directed towards the future, onward to genuine socialism, in these times of crisis-shaken capitalism. Dear friends, dear guests, recently I heard a nice quote of Mr. Habeck. You can read a lot of him recently. You can't shy away from all the wisdom of this minister and philosopher. So he proclaimed, I quote, "I try to stay away from the party program now and do what needs to be done in terms of what is necessary." First question is, what kind of party program is that you have to stay away from if you want to do what is necessary? Second question is, what kind of a party leader is he, ex-party leader, is he who just decided to stay away from the party program that their members, their party congress decided, and he was elected for that? And now he wants to stay away from that. The answer to both is that this ex-party chairman, this minister, as well as the party program, are based on bottomless opportunism. Government participation, crisis and war accelerated only the agenda of the Green leadership, turning into open social chauvinism and warmongering. Disarmament, phasing out coal combustion, saving the environment, all no longer is necessary. They had election campaigns for that, they used everything they could, but no, nothing of this is necessary anymore because you have to wage a war. Apart from the fact that I personally have a contrary, different understanding of politics and also a function as a party chairperson, then Mr. Habeck, neither our party program, nor our statute, nor the membership of my party would allow for one day to deal in that way with the party program and the decisions taken by the party congress. By the way, in our party program, we have what is actually necessary from the point of view of the workers and the oppressed masses and the nature. So I would say our program has had some advances against that. We have developed it from the first party congress, applied it creatively, but have not betrayed or taken back a word of it at the same time. The MLPD is a party of a new type. As there's a huge need for this. If you look at all the turning away and the loss of membership of all bourgeois parties, except the Green Party, but I think we we can predict that they will have the same problem soon if we look at the other parties. Still, you could of course tell us that the Greens are quite more successful than we are. But I deny that it is a success from the point of view of the masses of the population and the environment that the Greens today in the government make the service provider for the German monopoly capital. To adapt to the ruling capitalist society, its ideology and its political style is of course no big deal. Everyone can do that. And so these are the most successful politicians and young talents. I think a successful policy is quite different to just following the mainstream of the policy like the NATO does it in all the countries of the world. I, on the other hand, take my hat off to all those comrades of the MLPD who have remained true to their convictions since the 60s, 70s, 80s. They kept their word, they had their backbone, they waged the struggle of the workers against all obstacles, maybe even against bribery, against anti-communist attacks. They continued. Congratulations, this is your celebration, this is your party, you built it, you can be proud of this party. Thank you for your achievements. This is what I call successful political work in the interest of the working class, the masses and the environment. Our political opponents, of course, have undertaken a lot of things to drive us into isolation. For a long time, many people didn't even know that the MLPD exists, because if you don't appear in the media, you're kind of not existent for some people. But still, we can take stock that the MLPD, centimeter by centimeter, sometimes only by millimeters, has broken through the relative isolation through the decades. It has fought for its role in the entire society, and of course Karl Marx and many members of MLPD would have wished for the revolution to come quicker and socialism to come earlier, and some people may be not so patient and they might have trouble with it. However, this is not only up to us, especially as with the German monopoly capitalism, and the German government is not an easy opponent. Besides the high fighting moral spirit, it is the principles that make for the MLPD as a party of a new type. There's the ideological political line, which has been developed piece by piece over the years, above all in 37 book editions of our theoretical organ Revolutionary Weg so far. It is the latest fashion of all bourgeois and petty bourgeois parties to allegedly distance themselves from their ideology or party politics. We, on the contrary, stand with our ideology and our party as of a new type. From the view of Marxism-Leninism, MLPD analyzed all the burning issues of the times. We stick with Marx and Lenin in this because they are not the origin of a dogma, as people say. They themselves constantly developed themselves and their theories further, corrected themselves self-critically when they were wrong, and understood the theoretical work always as a processing of the always changing reality and practical experiences of the working class. That was their understanding of theoretical work. We also took on the method of Marx and Lenin, the dialectical materialism. Only with that it is possible today to see through a complicated world and to change it. MLPD is also a revolutionary working class party. That is also part of these characteristics. Almost 80% of the party membership consists of workers and lower employees in the rank and file, but also in the functionary body. You've seen it. We are the only party in Germany that still has factory groups. In earlier days, this was normal for all the parties who call themselves a working class party. SPD had, and also DKP had it in big groups. I haven't heard of them for years. Either they work so incognito that you can't feel anything about them, or they don't exist anymore, and I think it's the second option. Our party work is existing in a systematic rank and file work. That means our members cooperate with non-members on a day-to-day basis, building consciousness, waging joint struggles, preparing them in the neighborhoods, at the factories, in the trade unions, among intellectuals, at universities, or with small and medium-sized farmers in the environmental youth and women's movement. And we also have a party culture different from other parties. We work in a democratic and centralist way. This is kind of a bad word of anti-communism, but what does it mean? It just means that we have a democratic argument of opinions on the basis of the different experience of our members or the masses, but then it turns into a more effective and principled basis of our party. If I take a look at these parties who have so many opinions, like they have members of factions, that cannot work out. They discussing, they have, when we discuss and we have a party congress, we have about 1,000 motions for papers, but then we discuss them and argue, and then we are closed. We are close. MLPD is financially independent. Full-time party workers receive at most an average skilled worker's wage. We reject privilege and careerism. By the way, we maintained these principles of the party when we became bigger, grew larger, and we kept it when a number of comrades had some positions in works councils, in city councils. That is especially that when that happens, we care for everyone to stick to the principles. Without a quota of women and without a cult of youth, we are pursuing a generational change and a promotion of women in all areas of our work. Dear friends, you all experienced it in the last years. To take on a role in society as a whole, of course, means that the sympathy is growing and the MLPD was able to strengthen itself during the last years. But, and some people may not have expected that, it also means that the opponents are called on the scene. Surely. And so MLPD is certainly the most fought party in Germany. Again and again, we are trendsetters, opinion leaders, point of orientation, but also bone of contention, counterpart or even object of hate of every form of rightward development, but also of opportunism and anti-communism. This all is one thing and it belongs together, but through all this, in the end, we have been strengthened. Dear citizens of Gelsenkirchen, recently at the BDI, which is one of the most important monopoly associations in Germany, there was a poll on Facebook, who was the greatest philosopher in Germany. For selection, they put the reactionary Nietzsche, Hannah Arendt, or even Schopenhauer and Hegel. They were probably not very happy about the fact that even in this circus, one after the other wrote Karl Marx, of course. So, let anyone claim that our thesis would be wrong, that bourgeois ideology is in a crisis. Even some of our people sometimes question this, but if even these people talk about Karl Marx, or some even use him as a... some people even use him as a cover, but if that is not a sign of crisis, I don't know. You can see that they at least have to pay him tribute. So who was this famous man, Karl Marx? Marx came from a Jewish family of lawyers. As a student, he first becomes a young Hegelian, is still an idealist regarding his world outlook. He's refused admission to the university in Bonn and became editor of the Rheinische Zeitung. However, not only in his writings he was a revolutionary or some person who only wrote some things, he was a practical revolutionary. Even in a young age, he was denounced because he was carrying weapons, apparently. Then he was censored. He was tried in Prussia in his late 20s for calling for revolution, and he was expelled from Prussia. Regretfully, the person who pushed him out of this newspaper later said that after Marx left, there was no personality left who could maintain the newspaper in its former hateful dignity, unquote. So Marx fled to France, was expelled, fled to Belgium, was expelled again, returned to Germany, and from there had to go into exile in London. For a big part of his life, he lived in miserable conditions with his family. Anti-communism did not originate with MLPD or with Mao Zedong or Stalin, as some modern anti-communists claim, with reference to the still defensible Marx. You need to imagine that with this honorable Marx, who everybody pays respect to today, at that time the English policy spread Marx would eat little children in their cradles. Imagine that nonsense, what they said about this man. But this is also encouraging. It's just stupid lies, and through the time they cannot endure. And they didn't with Marx. Marx especially caught their hatred, the hatred of those in power, by working out the scientific socialism in theory and practice. Important was his best friend and comrade in arms, Friedrich Engels. And he predicted, I quote, "His name will continue through the years and his work too." Their joint communist manifesto was translated into 200 languages with an estimated circulation of 500 million copies. So next to the Bible and next to the words of Chairman Mao, it's one of the best-selling books in the world's history. We have a nice exhibition here. We have a collector who's collecting it in the most different languages, and you can see how many languages you can read. Today, this book, as well as The Capital of Marx, is part of the UNESCO World Documents Heritage. And rightfully so. It was the life's work of Lenin to apply Marxism to the epoch of imperialism. He continued and implemented what Marx had developed. Within the working class movement, Marx resolutely fought opportunist views that advocated workers' reconciliation with capitalism. So today, we don't allow any opportunists, whenever it is about Marx, Sarah Wagenknecht, or some editorial stuff like Thomas Piketty. These people are called the big Marxists then. But only some leftist sayings or a bit of criticism of capitalism, this is not Marx. That man really stands for much more in his life, and he left a lot more from him to then just being a bit of critical. Marxist is who fights on the side and in the ranks of the proletarian class struggle and gives it a fundamental perspective with the proletarian revolution. To be a Marxist means to work in a scientific way. And to be a Marxist means to use the doctrine of the dictatorship of the proletariat to come to the classless society of communism. Marxist today can only be who is a Marxist-Leninist. Dear friends, we are experiencing a time of extreme opponents. Never in history, mankind, humanity has been able to work so productively, yet the prices in the supermarket give the impression that all goods were individually produced in a manufactory. This has only in few cases to do with the real shortage, but mainly with speculation and monopoly prices. Production is organized at a high level in international alliances, but the competition between the producing countries, the inter-imperialist competition with sanctions, with wars, but also dried up rivers or ports that are at a standstill, creates such bottlenecks and downright chaos that you don't get the easiest things. You know, when GDR still existed, here in the West, they always proclaimed, you don't get any bananas in the East. No, we don't get the most essential things. You don't get oil in the supermarket or nails in the shops. So where did capitalism lead to? Today we have a highly productive agriculture, but 1 in 10 of the world's citizens suffers from chronic hunger. According to a new study of think tank TechZ, in a shortest time, with an investment offensive of society as a whole, it would only be 40 billions. 40 billions is something that they just pay at the NATO meeting for some more armaments. With 40 billion euro, you could completely replace the energy supply to renewable energy in Germany, but they don't do it. There was a woman before here with a sign, be ashamed. Be ashamed of yourself. She can only speak about capitalism. I can't explain it in a different way. Ashamed should be these people who still keep with these societal conditions, and surely not those who stand for the perspective that it is possible in a different way today. The competition for world-leading position of the monopolies by the emergence of new imperialist countries, by financial and economic crisis, and the contradiction of social production and private appropriation on the other hand, leads to military and economic wars by law. The preparation of a Third World War against the will for freedom of the majority of the world's population is pushed through. These contradictions challenge us to make clear choices today. In this phase, there's only two options. Either this capitalism, this imperialism leads humanity into fascism, a nuclear world war, or a global environmental catastrophe. There's nothing else they can offer us today. Or we fight for the international socialist revolution, where the most advanced productive forces will be freed from the shackle of these imperialism, and the United Socialist States of the world will be constructed. This is the dialectic of the present situation, which is why, of course, we are concerned and serious about today's development, but we are also optimistic because we have this alternative and don't only look back or fight against something, but we fight for this future. The United Socialist States could, in this United Socialist States, the internationalized production could be used for mutual benefit. Look at these vaccines. Everyone does their own vaccine. In some parts of the world, people are still not vaccinated. This is just nonsense of this capitalist production, and it would be possible in a planned way to transfer the entire production, consumption and way of life to the guideline of unity of humanity and nature by means of a planned economy. Today, the gas prices are a very perverted expression of today's societal order, because it enables, and this is the core of the thing, that RWE and E.ON and Uniper and whoever is stick to combustion gas. And still, under today's conditions, it is lucrative. even under these conditions, subsidized by all of us. It's particularly brazen how billions of euros are taken directly from the pockets of the working population and flow into the pockets of these energy companies. Recently, in the talk show Hard But Fair, Mr. Kuhlmann was interviewed. I don't know if everyone knows him. In the Ruhr region, he's an important person because he's the CEO of Evonik, one of the most important energy corporations here. And he was asked whether he would pay back money to the customers if his corporation would do better. That man answered unabashedly, no, we don't have socialism. This really is dictatorship of the monopolies as it lives and breathes. So in this society you only speak very cautiously. They are very afraid that someone could call them a socialist, for instance, if SPD wants to do property tax. You only cautiously speak about this and immediately they say, oh, where would this end up? The entrepreneur has to carry the whole risk as the entrepreneur. But of course, however, for these gentlemen it is completely natural that the workers must carry, or the society must carry, any kind of losses. So then you don't speak about the risk as an entrepreneur, but we have to carry that. Of course, this is something where people are really mad about, and we have to say the gas levy is not stable anymore. If people take to the streets, last Monday, Progressive Monday demonstrations started against that, and they have to take such laws back. We demand the gas levy must be taken off the table without if and buts. We combine this active resistance against the Third World War, in which we denounce the imperialist war-mongering of Putin, as well as the imperialist war preparation of the US, which is also carried by the NATO and Ukraine as a striving new imperialist country. We denounce this war preparation, but we combine it with criticizing that all the costs and burdens of this war policy are shifted to our backs. This does again confirm the state does not mediate between different parts of the society, but exists only to maintain this class rule, and in its whole function it is a service provider of the dictatorship of monopoly capitalism. Dear people in Horst, today we experience the deep crisis of bourgeois ideology, against which Marx kind of opened the fight. One answer of those in power is that they developed a whole system of petty bourgeois mode of thinking, which is seemingly having taken a critical position against the ruling conditions, but at the same time defends capitalism against every societal alternative by saying, yeah, might be all well and good what you say, but still capitalism is the best of society and you can't achieve anything more. But that is also not stable anymore. For example, the lie, fundamental lie of the peace policy, foreign peace policy has been taken on. Policy. What are the values? For instance, one of the most important partners is the religiously fundamental Qatar, a feudal rule. They are the preferred alliance partner of the federal government now. Last week, 60 workers were recently convicted for fighting for payment of their outstanding wages. They didn't get their wages, and then they were arrested because they fought for their wages. These are the values that our foreign policy stays for. Or this thing of an ecological transition, which they spoke about in the election campaign. Nobody talks about this anymore. But still, it is just a wrong illusion that people would be more revolutionary if they live in a worse situation. Whether you fight against capitalism and for a new society is still something that you need to decide about deliberately in your head. So what we want is to put this anniversary into the the line of becoming a revolutionary, a Marxist-Leninist yourself. It is one thing to accept that Marx was right. This is a good start. But Marx himself called for. The philosophers have only interpreted the word in various ways. The point is to change it. That was one of his most important statements. In this situation, everyone is challenged to think through the current world situation comprehensively and to the end, and to draw the necessary consequence. Where will this end up? And then draw your consequences. So, in particular, we would like to call upon young people to make the life works of people like Karl Marx and Lenin, but also of countless revolutionaries who were, some of those we've seen today, who've worked all their life under very difficult conditions in the struggle against capitalism and for genuine socialism. And these classics of Marxism-Leninism and also these comrades should be taken as a role model. I don't tell you this would be the easiest or the most comfortable way. It is definitely, there is a lot of obstacle and there's hard work in theory and practice, and determined struggle to be waged. We are experiencing rapid and abrupt changes. Some of us didn't experience that. Many young people haven't experienced a war so far, or even dealt with the question that there could be a world war. But unusual times require unusual decisions. I'm sure that the MLPD, together with its comrades, but also with the close allies it has all over the world, is well prepared, well equipped to fight successfully for the cause of the United Socialist States of the world. Sometimes maybe not so fast, but sometimes faster. But the direction of development is right, and it will lead to the goal. Thank you, and now enjoy the rest of the celebration with the unveiling of Karl Marx.
Okay, thank you very much, Gabi Fechner, for our festive speech. Before we come to the unveiling of Karl Marx, the secret of the four letters. Other parties who even have a shortening, they only have 3 letters, but we have 4. Marxist-Leninist Party of Germany, and Stefan Engel is explaining why. I played football for a long time every day, and my football friends said this was the party with the 4 letters. They can't remember the letters, but a lot of them voted for us, but these 4 letters were something unusual. When the founding party Congress was prepared in the entire organization, we had a very thorough discussion about the party name. There were various proposals for the name. For example, Communist Workers' Party of Germany, or Revolutionary Workers' Party of Germany, Marxist-Leninist Workers' Party of Germany. Unifying the party name was not easy. Communist Workers' Party of Germany was out of the question because it was reminiscent of a party in the Weimar Republic which had a very sectarian policy and also fought against the KPD with determination with its sectarian policy. Some also thought that maybe it's just as well that one is a communist should not. People say, call yourself another name, then you'll be better. Or maybe you say a Labor Party or Workers' Party. They wanted to leave out Marxist-Leninist or revolutionary and claim the masses could understand that better. That had to be rejected because we have explicitly defined our path and goal of socialism, communism in the name. We communists are against denying the source. In any case, in any case, we had to distinguish ourselves from modern revisionism of the old communist movement and the Communist Party of Germany, which had betrayed the path of socialism, because in 1956, in the Soviet Union and the German Democratic Republic restored capitalism. We then decided for the name Marxist-Leninist Party of Germany. It was clear that for us that this name had yet to become and yet to be anchored among the masses, and would need a lot of explanation. The name of Marx has a positive connotation in the revolutionary and workers movement, even into social democracy. We also noticed this in Gelsenkirchen too, whether they slandered Lenin completely. The bourgeois media are afraid of slandering Marx, because they even have SPD people against them. With regard to Lenin, on the other hand, there were many attempts to discredit him, which we already experienced when his statue was erected here. Nevertheless, we decided on this party name because it expresses scientific socialism, and also thus expresses the fundamental character of the new type of party. If today we also erect a monument to Marx next to Lenin, this is also to express the claim of a Marxist-Leninist party to a societal future for humankind without exploitation and oppression, at a time when modern anti-communism defames communism only as totalitarianism and accuses it of the most evil crimes which it actually commits itself. We remind of the last decision of the European Parliament in last September, where they managed to accuse the Soviet Union of starting the Second World War, and he said Hitler was just reacting to the Soviet Union. That goes back to the Greens, and this is the installation of the two statues to Marx and Lenin also embodies that we are at the baseline of the international socialist revolution and the establishment of the dictatorship of the proletariat on the way to the communist classless society. Honor the two greatest international leaders of the revolutionary workers' movement.
Herzlichen Dank an Stefan Engel.
Thank you to Stefan Engel. When on 20th June we unveiled the Lenin statue, Gabi Fechner said we'll be erecting a Marx statue, and now as the time has come, welcome Karl Marx here to Gelsenkirchen-Horst.
Wir haben keinen Ton mehr.
Neben der Marx-Statue steht...
Next to the mark is Rainer Günther, the sculptor who made this statue. The International. Wie Glut im Krater Herde, schon mit Macht zum Durchbruch dringt. Reinen Tisch macht mit den Bedrängern, Herr der Sklaven, wachet auf. Ein Nichts zu sein tragt es nicht länger, alles zu werden strömt zuhauf. Völker, hört die Signale, auf zum letzten Gefecht. Erkämpft
erkämpft das Menschenrecht. Völker, hört die Signale auf zum letzten Gefecht. Die Internationale erkämpft das Menschenrecht. Es rettet uns kein höheres Wesen, kein Gott, kein Kaiser noch Tribun. Uns aus dem Elend zu erlösen, können wir nur selber tun. Leeres Wort des armen Rechte, leeres Wort des reichen Pflicht. Unmündig nennt man uns nun Knechte, duldet die Schmach nun länger nicht. Völker, hört die Signale auf zum letzten Gefecht. Die Internationale erkämpft das Menschenrecht. Völker, hört die Signale auf zum letzten Gefecht. Die Internationale erkämpft das Menschenrecht. In Stadt und Land die Arbeitsleute, wir sind die stärkste der Parteien. Die Müßiggänger schiebt beiseite, diese Welt muss unser sein. Unser Blut soll nicht mehr der Raben und der nächtigen Geier fraß. Erst wenn wir sie vertrieben haben, scheint uns die Sonne Unterlass. Völker, hört die Signale auf zum letzten Gefecht. Die Internationale erkämpft das Menschenrecht. Völker, hört die Signale auf zum letzten Gefecht. Die Internationale erkämpft das Menschenrecht.
Wir bitten nun den Künstler,
We now ask the artist Rainer Günther, who is a painter, graphic and sculptor, on stage to say something about the statue. What do you think? It's turned out great, didn't it?
mit der Zeitung sagte, jetzt sind wir endlich komplett
As he said, Gabi Fechner said in an interview with the newspaper, we are now complete with Marx next to Lenin.
Das Wort gebe. Hier werden
Before I give the microphone
Postkarten
to Rainer Günther, we have some donation postcards
Man kann den Betrag
you can buy with Marx and Lenin.
auch bei der Steuer
You can write down how much you want to donate, and you can deduct it from taxes. So
ablenken. Jetzt aber
it's
zunächst
a
herzlich willkommen
unique
und vielen Dank, Rainer Günther.
remembrance.
Ich bin noch ganz gerührt, von daher ist ganz gut, dass
I'm very moved.
es Spende geht, ja.
So it's good to get some donations, and then I can a little relax with my speech.
Erzählen, wie das zu dieser Statue kam.
As a sculptor who created the Karl Marx statue, I would like to show you the creation and design of the statue, and also some technical background, and also what in your mind what you have to change to
Bild, was ich geschaffen habe,
create such a statue. The starting point was a picture that I created with the
der Aufruf
title Call for Building the International Anti-Imperialist and Anti-Fascist United Front.
auf der Internetseite.
This image of mine is still on the website of ICOR, and it's inside in the Willi Dikut house.
Die Monika und Monika
And who got in touch with me was Monika Gärtner-Engel. She noticed this, and she really realized that I'm a sculptor, and asked me if I could realize a Marx statue.
von der MLPD fand es ganz gut.
I made a draft, and the bodies of the MLPD thought it was good.
Büste von
At
Marx.
first, I made a life-size model of Marx, and I showed them this. They liked it, but there's a small thing to say. When I went back to Karlsruhe, this model was in the back of my car.
Der Statue von meinem ehemaligen Professor Rydlička vom Engelsdenkmal in Wuppertal habe ich Station gemacht.
And I stopped at the Engels monument in Wuppertal, which was created by my former professor Rydlička. And I stopped there, and people were looking at the Marx in the back of my car, and they joined me, and they were happy about it. And they said it's a Marx that is not looking so serious, it has kind of smile on his face. Then I moved away from that model for the simple reason because in that model was a lot of role models that I looked at and in this bust. Because I looked in the internet and books and so on, what depictions there are of Marx. But then I realized I wanted to create something completely new, something that we don't have yet. So I had to relate back to my own work and get my head around to what should Marx look like. I would like to read Marx should remain recognizable according to the historical documents, that he is at the same time our contemporary and energetic speaker and fighter for his ideology of freedom, communism. With his left hand holding the capital, he refers to Lenin. With the oratorical gesture of his right hand, he calls for action. According to his motto, the philosophers have only interpreted the world differently. What matters is to change it. That was my idea. As a sculptor, you cannot just go there and then just say, I start working and then it will look like this. There was a lot of questions. Reconsider, is this going in the right direction, and so on. In the technical realization, that was interesting. I will be here tomorrow at the statue and we'll talk about this. The statue went through a twofold change from the positive mold to the negative mold. It's a dialectic in a sense. The last form was the aluminium casting before it was created. During the molding, waxing, reworking of the wax model, molding for the melting out process, casting in aluminum, reworking of the aluminum casting. It required craftsmanship, understanding of form, and clear communication were required by the workers who did it. I was there as a sculptor. I reworked the wax model, but without the foundrymen, chaser, mold makers, and so, whose labor power is in the statue, it was not have been possible. I would like to thank anyone who contributed to the realization of this work.
Also am Anfang war der Erwin, ehemaliger Schweißer beim Daimler, der hat mir
in the beginning, Erwin, a former welder at Daimler-Benz, he had to weld a construction which weighed a ton. That was the beginning. My work was accompanied by people looking at this, and this continued to work inside my head. Karl Marx, or Color as I call him, patiently endured opposing processes.
entspricht das ja auch seinem materialistischen.
In the spirit of his dialectical materialist theory.
Meine Auffassung von Kunst.
This also shapes my conception of art. The bourgeois conception of art sees the artist in an ivory tower of artistic freedom, which lets him do whatever comes to his mind, but subjects him to the art market for better or worse.
Ja, das Kunstmagazin Monopol.
The art magazine Monopol headlines many of the approximately 130,000 visual artists in Germany are also live artists by necessity. For example, the gas money we have to pay now, that means they cannot heat their working rooms.
Ja, damit sie überhaupt künstlerisch arbeiten können.
They live near existence minimum.
Der meisten Künstler sind, Leinwände aufzuschlitzen, Fettecke zu installieren, Bilder auf den Kopf zu stellen.
In view of this reality of life for most artists, does it make sense to slash canvases, install grease corners, turn pictures upside down, postulate black as a new color? Doesn't humanity struggle for peace, a unity of man and nature, a society without exploitation of man by man, challenge an art that addresses these existential issues and shows perspectives? Great artists such as Camille Claudel, Käthe Kollwitz, Paula Modersohn-Becker, John Hartfield, Tatlin, Otto Dix, Fritz Kremer, Alfred Hirtlichka have dealt with these existential themes in their works. I stand in this tradition and will continue to work for the revival of a resolute realism. Finally, my parting words to Kalle and my congratulations to Karl Marx. To understand Kalle, I must take a detour into Greek mythology. The Greek sculptor Pygmalion fell so much in love with the female statue he created that he asked Aphrodite, the goddess of love, to bring her to life. The next time Pygmalion caressed her, the statue came to life. What does this narrative have to do with my work on the Marx statue? I certainly did not develop an erotic relationship with the Marx statue. Nevertheless, it was a very personal, intimate relationship shaped by questioning that connected me to her and led me to affectionately call her Kalle. Without a temporary fusion with the figure, alternating with critical questioning and discarding, the success of the form would not have been possible. So, dear Kalle, we spent a good year together in a very remote place in the Bad Herrenalb studio. It was a hard-working and also beautiful time in which we had fierce disputes and exciting conversations. You felt most comfortable when workers visited you and discussed ideological issues around the warm workshop stove. Often you were also dissatisfied with your appearance, with my studies and reports, wanted to know more and go out into the world. I could convince you that our main contradiction was between your still imperfect and the desired appearance. As soon as this would be solved, you would get a place in the industrial heart of Germany. Dear Karl Marx, now you are standing on the Socialist Square in front of the Willy Dickhut House in Gelsenkirchen. Next to you, Lenin, a brilliant interlocutor who analyzed imperialism on the basis of your writings and under whose leadership the October Revolution and the founding and building of the first socialist state in the world successfully took place. Both of you are name givers of the MLPD, which stands for having taken the big hurdles in the building of a Marxist-Leninist party of a new type on the basis of your teachings. Congratulations to your new location and to 40 years of MLPD. Good luck. Glück auf.
Herzlichen Herzlichen Dank an Rainer Günther.
Thank you, Rainer Günther.
Eine Art Uraufführung gestern zum allerersten
We
Mal.
now have another premiere.
Wurde das neue Lied Bist du dabei? Zum Anlass von 40 Jahren.
Yesterday, the new song "Are You With Us" was created and composed on the occasion of 40 years MLPD. It is being sold for 5 euros. It will be read out by Ricky from the Youth League Rebel and some friendly musicians. Welcome to our song for 40 years of MLPD.
Es wird so viel versprochen, doch du
So much is promised, but you do what you say.
bist dir treu geblieben, lässt dich nicht verbieten.
So much is promised, but you do what you say and say what you mean, are true to yourself, and don't let yourself be bent. You wear great names, but not out of nostalgia. You have chosen themselves as a firm compass with which you go your way. With hard, honest work, and where people stick together, you're at home there. You have no fatherland. Your heart beats internationally. Left to yourself, every great goal remains forever only a dream. Let's build a future together, strong and organized. M for Karl Marx. For Lenin and L. Let's take sides. Are you with us? Your big goals are not utopia, but science. You fight for socialism with courage and confidence. You have powerful enemies who fear that your plan will seize the masses. You grow in the headwind, your time coming. You are a teacher and a teacher. You are a student and a teacher, modestly full of drive. You bring forward the struggle to free humankind. Can life be more beautiful? Left to yourself, every great goal remains forever only a dream. Let's build a future together, strong and organized. M for Karl Marx. And for Lenin and L. Let's take sides. Are you with us? Whoever fights for freedom does not always have it easy, but you are never alone. You feel solidarity. You can always be sure of honest friends. Whoever fights for freedom does not always have it easy, but you are never alone. You feel solidarity. You can always be sure of honest friends.
1, 2, 3, 4.
M for Karl Marx. For Lenin and L. Let's take sides. M for Karl Marx. For Lenin and L. MLPD. Are you with us?
Herzlichen Dank an den Rebell und befreundete Musiker.
Thank you to the Youth League Rebel and friendly musicians. Yesterday when we sang it, there was a small boy next to me, and every time they sang, "Are you with us?" he said, "Yeah, I'm with us. I'm with you." We are 1,500 participants as a whole on this for an event that the police said that's not going to be so good. So that's a great result. 1,500 people here. Now we're coming to the trip around the world with Monika Gärtner-Enger. She is the international responsible for internationalism, main coordinator of the ICOR, and president of the anti-imperialist, anti-fascist United Front. A strong welcome to Monika. Thank you very much. I am especially happy to greet the international guests here on the stage. Please come closer. Otherwise, that's the first. He comes to in the alphabet. He comes a little later, but he's from Turkey, and he has to leave soon. Hello, dear comrades from the MLPD, dear period from the Hosta Mitte. I greet you from the Federation of Workers from the Turkey in German, ATIF. Congratulations to the MLPD for 40 years. For its 40th birthday. I would like to welcome Marx after 173 years. Since he was sent into exile in 2023, he came back to Germany with the right partner at the correct place. And today I would also like to say that Willy Dickut also experienced a lot. He was in a concentration camp. He continued to struggle, and he did good work. He founded a party, and since then we work together, and in the future we will always work together. That is why I say, long live international solidarity. Thank you very much. And now our comrades from Afghanistan.
Okay, also, liebe Freunde, vorab möchte ich MLDP zum 40. Jubiläum gratulieren. Wir sind Ihnen allen dankbar.
First, I would like to congratulate MLPD to its 40 years in allowing us a socialist future. In the name of the DIMA and the Party for Afghanistan, thank you very much for your invitation. I come in Afghanistan. I came from a country which a year ago was abandoned which had occupied, supported Afghanistan, supported the Islamic terrorists, and gave this over to the Taliban. The joint struggle and resistance is the solution to the misery of our people. For the solidarity with all oppressed people in Afghanistan. Thank you very much. This is a party where the members remain in Afghanistan and did not flee. Our next colleague. He comes from Sweden.
Greetings from Sweden, and I want to congratulate the MLPD on its 40-year anniversary. We talked a lot about the threat of a third world war, and as communists we understand that imperialism as the highest stage of capitalism is war. And therefore, in order to defeat and combat imperialism, we need to be armed with the ideology of the proletariat, Marxism, Leninism, Maoism. And we learn from the people who make a revolution today in form of people's war in India, the Philippines, Turkey and Peru. Lang lieben Marx, lang lieben Lenin, lang lieben Mao Zedong.
Vielen herzlichen Dank für die Grünen.
Thank you for the greetings from Sweden and now Bangladesh. Kafi, the comrade Kafi. He is also the Asian coordinator of the ICOR. Welcome.
Abdullah Kafi, Communist Party of Bangladesh. On behalf of CPB, we convey our revolutionary greetings to comrades of MLPD on its 40th anniversary. On this day, I remember Comrade Willie D. Kurtz with utmost respect. We are happy to note that MLPD has played an important role since its inceptions and adopt correct political line. One of the most important achievements of MLPD during this period in the theory of mode of thinking, this theory has contributed much in the ideology, political and organizational building of the MLPD. We also remember Comrade Stefan Engel for his contribution. We congratulate the MLPD on its 40th anniversary from the Communist Party of Bangladesh. Dhanyabad. Thank you. Lal Salam.
Vielen herzlichen Dank.
Thank you very much, Communist Party of the Bangladesh. There's another revolutionary party from Bangladesh, Manisha.
Hello, comrades. I am Monisha Chakraborty from Socialist Party of Bangladesh. My heartiest congratulations to MLPD on its 40th anniversary. We know that it is very difficult in today's world to uphold the banner of Marxism-Leninism, and especially in Germany, who has had the experience of socialism in some forms. But we salute MLPD for its valiant and militant struggle and upholding the banner of Marxism-Leninism. And we also want to say that we especially thank MLPD for bringing Marx back to Germany. We know that Marx is not only a philosopher, he's the change maker. He changed the way we look at human history. He laid the stone of the proletarian dream. He laid the dream of a classless society. So Marx could not come back to his country in person, but MLPD brought his statue back. So we think Marx will come back to every country. His thoughts will come back to every country. Long live Marxism-Leninism. Long live international solidarity.
Vielen herzlichen Dank. Und jetzt gehen wir in den nächsten.
Thank you very much. Now we go back to the next continent, Sidwell.
Dear comrades and friends, dear comrades and friends, and the citizens of Gelsenkirchen, comrades Gabi Fleischer, Comrade Monika Gärtner-Engel, Comrade Stefan Engels, and all the comrades of MLPD, on behalf of the Communist Party of South Africa, Marxist-Leninists, I give you revolutionary and warm greetings to this important and historical events, 40 years anniversary of the MLPD. We feel honored to be here, comrade, to participate in this important occasion. MLPD unreservedly will fulfill its international revolutionary duty, but by uniting all the revolutionary Marxist-Leninist organizations of the world. ICOR now we have got more than 60 members. We wish you a successful and great event. Thank you.
Vielen herzlichen Dank, Sid.
Thank you very much, Sidwell, who has been organized. We are in the same front for everywhere where you are struggle.
Und zugleich sehr junger Gast und Teilnehmer, MBS, seine Frau Durga Paudel.
Yes, MB Singh.
Und rennt noch im Himalaya rum.
On behalf of Nepal Communist Party Masal, we would like to our revolutionary greetings on the occasion of the 14th anniversary of MLPD. Both of our parties have very long bilateral relations of more than 3 decades. So in this long period, we have been working together in many international affairs. So the history of the MLPD, out of the 40 years, 30 years, the history of 30 years, we are together with the party of MLPD. So we have very close relation with the Communist Party of Germany, MLPD. So in this situation, we wish best to say to all the comrades and the MLPD of Germany, thanks.
Alles Gute, vielen Dank.
Vielen Dank an euch alle.
Many thanks to all of you, those of you who climbed the highest mountains. From France, Danielle.
Danke, Genossen.
Thank you, comrades, for the invitation. We wish all of you a great anniversary.
Alle Treffen mit der MLPD
all the meetings with the MLPD helped us in the understanding of Marxism, Leninism. You united dialectics with the political struggle. Reading the works of the revolutionary way, the contribution to founding the international conference and later on ICOR, and the friendly exchange between comrades, and also your delegation to France, to the social struggles in France, for example, or for the anniversary of the Paris Commune. This strengthens our trust into scientific socialism and gives us trust in the working class, confidence in the working class. Next is a revolutionary from Morocco. Dear comrade Gabi Fechner, dear comrade Monika, dear comrade Stefan Engel, dear comrades of MLPD, happy anniversary to your birthday. The whole working class of Morocco and the movement of the Marxist-Leninist proletarians of Morocco wishes you a wonderful anniversary. You are the backbone of the revolutionary struggle in the world. Happy birthday to you. We now hear a whole group of comrades from Latin America, a continent that is right now in a left turmoil, and for the comrade from Colombia is presenting is left uprising in South America. The Latin American organizations that are present here, Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Uruguay, welcome all of you to send their greetings to 40 years MLPD. It's an example of revolutionary struggle against imperialism and against for socialism. The ideology of the proletariat is correct and on the way to come to power. The possibility of a third world war, which would endanger the existence of mankind and the existence of nature. The unity and solidarity of people is the only way against this shameful policy of the imperialists and fascists. In the light of the oppression in Latin America and many peoples in the world, the rebellion and the anti-imperialist struggle is growing. We are defending the self-determination of the peoples, to secure natural nature and crimes. We are against imperialist crimes, and that's why we say proletarians of all countries unite, and proletarians and all people of the world unite.
Schaut alle her, wer da marschiert.
Look who is marching. This is the anti-imperialist is marching here.
Der Anti-Amerikanismus für Lateinamerika.
The anti-Americanism for Latin America. I would just to say from which countries the comrades are here. 2 organizations from Argentina. Then environmental activists and miners leader and party activists from Peru, from Mexico, coming from Mexico, from Uruguay, and from Colombia, of course.
Herzlichen Glückwunsch und herzlich willkommen. Bleibt
welcome and thank you.
alle hier oben stehen. Jetzt geht's
You can all stay on stage. The next ones, please.
Kann ich sprechen? Greetings, my comrades from all over the world. I come from a little country which is called Hungary.
Wo ist die Übersetzung? Er sagt, ich freue mich, zu euch zu sprechen. Ich komme aus einem kleinen Land, Ungarn.
This is a little country, and in this little country, the knowledge about classes in the society is very little too, sadly. For citizen of a country like this, it is very good to see and heartwarming that in other countries like Germany and within the ranks of the MLPD, there is still a true socialist spirit. It gives us in this little country strength for the fighting. Thank you so much.
Vielen Dank an
Thanks to you. Next is a comrade from a country where we have a revolutionary situation. Witness, welcome Sri Lanka, Frontline Socialist Party.
Dear comrades, good evening everybody. I'm Chatura Gunatilaka from Frontline Socialist Party, Sri Lanka. I would like to use this time for simple few messages. First thing is, I would like to warmly greet MLPD for their 40 years journey. I know that it is not easy, it is hard, but it's a lovely one. But the second message is for our neighbors and all the people in Germany. We, in our life, we lost in one way or other. We will, in our life, we will realize that in one time. But don't be late. When you realize that, it will be too late to change. So now take the action. The third message from my side is for the revolutionaries who are building these parties. You have challenges, but people one day will come to the streets and they want to fight. At that time, you need to be ready. So now organize, ready, and be a leader to lead them. Thank you very much.
Vielen herzlichen Dank.
Liebe Genossen und liebe Genossen, wir bitten euch,
dear comrades, we send the revolutionary greetings of the Communist Workers' Party, TKEP, and we wish you a successful birthday in a time where there is a danger of further imperialist aggressions is growing, the social tensions are growing, and class struggle is aggravating. Socialism is again the only alternative against capitalism, and therefore to reveal the Marx statue today is a great day for the revolutionaries all over the way. His name will go through the centuries and also his works. How else can we explain that since the world and economy and financial crisis 2000, there's a new hype about Karl Marx. His works were and will be the foundations for the revolutionaries and the workers all over the world. May the ruling class be afraid of a revolutionary. Long live revolution and socialism. Long live proletarian internationalism. Please stay on stage.
This from the Palestinian people
who are especially suffering from the aggression of the slander of the supposed anti-Semitism. Welcome to the friends of the PFLP, strugglers for the liberation of Palestine. Dear comrades, the Marxist-Leninist Party of Germany, at the same time, at the 40th anniversary of its founding, on behalf of the Democratic Palestine Committee of Palestine and the People's Front of Palestine, we would like to give our revolutionary greeting. We have an honor. You have played a militant role.
Auf der Seite der Klassen und Söhne der Gesellschaft steht
the sons of these are
die Herrschaft der Kapitalismus und
the rule of capitalism.
Betroffen sind.
Then they have, in a lot of important situations, they were at the side of the people of the Palestine, and they gave the support of the revolution. We got the support from the revolutionaries from the entire world. The MLPD is for the international socialist revolution in the entire world. Long live the struggle of the proletariat worldwide. We don't know each other yet. This is welcome. This is a representative from Poland.
It's an honor for us to be here during such glorious event.
Liebe Genossen, es ist uns eine Ehre, hier bei dieser wunderbaren Veranstaltung dabei zu sein.
As Marx wrote, history of societies is a history of class struggles. And this is the struggle we are all bound to fight. You can't fight and win without the weapon. Our weapon in this fight, the weapon of working class, is Marxism-Leninism. We fight for the liberation of working class. We fight for the liberation of mankind. I would like to thank the MLPD for 40 years of development of this weapon. Thank you, comrades.
Für die MLPD, dass ihr 40 Jahre lang mit dieser Waffe gekämpft habt.
Vielen herzlichen Dank an
Thank you very much from this new friend from Poland, and now there's someone who came here under very great difficulties from Bulgaria.
Danke, Monika. Solidarische und kämpferische Grüße an im Namen der bulgarischen kommunistischen Partei.
Solidarity wishes from the Communist Party of Bulgaria. It's a great pleasure for us to be able to take part in this event today. It is very significant that on this 40th anniversary of the MLPD, Karl Marx comes back here to Gelsenkirchen. The MLPD is a genuine working class party in Germany, and in this spirit, it's an honorable continuer of the works of Karl Marx in this country. In this crisis-ridden development of imperialism and the danger of a third world war, it is the task of the MLPD is very important, because imperialism and war is one. We are for our joint struggle for the future socialist world revolution. Thank you very much. Now we have representatives from Portugal, representative for the party building in Portugal. We bring the warmest revolutionary greetings of the UMLP and Marxist-Leninist League in Portugal. We congratulate you on 40 years successful party building. We are at the very beginning, but we are not beginning at zero. We can rely on the experience of the MLPD. But we have a card. The basic questions of party building is something that we already translated into Portuguese and distributed. And that functioned on this way. I think it will function for us too. Thank you very much. We wish you a lot of success. Now we have a guest. It comes from the belly of the beast from the USA.
Hello and welcome. My name's Andy Koch, or Koch. Hello, Carl.
Hello, Carl.
Congratulations and comradely greetings to the MLPD from my organization, Freedom Road Socialist Organization. We are building a Marxist-Leninist party in the United States. And we do exist. I think in history, it takes a certain amount of development for a human society in history to start to build monuments and build statues and things that we find archaeologically. And I'm very glad that the MLPD has reached a stage of development
more time. Ein Notfall.
Okay.
Heute früh. Genau, bitte sehr.
So in the history of societies, they need a certain amount of development before they start building monuments, like the pyramids. And I'm glad that MLPD has reached a stage in development that we can build things like Karl Marx. Thank you.
Vielen Dank. Wir kommen dann zur Eröffnung.
Thank you. We'll come to the opening of the Karl Marx statue in the USA.
Next one will be read out by the ICOR official, a message of the MLKP Turkey Kurdistan. In our long cooperation, we saw your passion for our collaborative work. We witnessed that your work is a valuable contribution for the international coordination of progressive and revolutionary forces. We're looking back on joint milestones that we achieved together, and even more optimistic to the future, to know that we are fighting side by side for the liberation of women. Thanks, MLKP, Turkey, Kurdistan. Many thanks. I can report that yesterday, together with the comrades of MLKP, we all prepared the first ICOR Women's Conference next Rote Morgen, Netherlands.
Herzlich willkommen, Karl Marx.
Welcome, Karl Marx.
Mit 40 Jahren MLPD.
Happy anniversary for 40 years MLPD, and looking forward to another 40 years working together with MLPD. Long live proletarian internationalism. Looking forward to further good collaboration. Next is Switzerland with the delegation.
Herzlich willkommen.
Welcome.
Wir freuen uns, dass wir hier sind.
We are happy to be here.
Für uns ist die MLPD.
To us, MLPD is a big role model in the way and the theoretical work for the whole work of MLGS and for our organization, and a stable orientation to move in the right direction of Marxism-Leninism, and we're looking forward to further good collaboration towards international socialist revolution. Thank you. Next, far-traveled friends that we had many exciting discussions from the party PDP in Korea. He will speak in Korean and she will translate into English.
MLPD 창당 40주년을 축하합니다. MLPD 40년의 역사는 독일 민중을 사회의 주인으로 만들기 위한 투쟁의 역사였습니다. 노동계급이 생산수단의 주인이 되고 전세계 노동계급의 단결투쟁을 강조했던 막스 동상 제막식에 함께하게 돼 영광입니다. 각 나라의 역사와 구체적 조건은 다르지만 우리 민중민주당은 MLPD 그리고 이 자리에 함께한 동지들과 노동자 민중의 해방과 반제 자주를 위한 역사적 노정에 함께할 것입니다. 전 세계 노동자 민중이여 단결하라. 단결한 노동자 민중은 패배하지 않는다.
Das war spannend. Wer hat's verstanden?
This was exciting. Who understood this?
Celebrating the 40th anniversary of MLPD. The 40 years history of MLPD is the history-making German people to the muster of German society. We have a great honor to be here in unveiling the statue of Karl Marx, who emphasizes that the workers become the master of the methods of production, and the workers of the world unite. Though the history and the specific conditions are different in every country, we, People's Democratic Party from South Korea, will be together on the historical way of liberation for the working class and people, and of anti-imperialism and independence, with MLPD and the comrades in the significant moment. Workers of the world, unite! People united will never be defeated.
Vielen herzlichen Dank.
Many thanks. I think there's another friend from the United States. Is that correct?
Yes. Hello, I'm Alex from the United States.
Alex aus den USA.
I am a communist and I help organize the union at the hotel where I work. Since the presidential campaign of Bernie Sanders, there has been a large organization calling itself socialist in the United States with almost 100,000 members. But parts of the organization supports Palestine and opposes war funds, and other parts of the organization opposes Palestine and votes for war funds. Honest working class socialists cannot tolerate this.
Aber der Klassensozialist, der kann das sowas nicht unterstützen.
So we appreciate the example of the MLPD in building a revolutionary party in an imperialist country, and the everyday criticism of revisionism and opportunism, and the everyday combination of theory and practice. Thank you.
Jetzt kommt unsere letzte Rednerin. Warte, erst immer schön.
Now our last speaker.
International Corona exportieren.
Dear friends and comrades, I greet all of you. Today is a very special day. There are two occasions, one 40th birthday, and that Marx and Lenin found each other and greet us and smile at us. I know the MLPD for 30 years. I speak in behalf of Bilka. I have very many events, experienced wonderful events like the one here. It is a party that places a lot of importance on work among youth, children, and women, and also values international cooperation. That's something I appreciate very much of the MLPD. Especially thank you to Monika. I'm very happy that Marx and Lenin are here, but maybe we can add someone for Friedrich Engels. This would be a suggestion that would be very nice. We owe that to them. Thank you very much. As long live socialism, as long live communism, and sorry for that mistake, but of course I mean communism. Long live communism. I wish you a lot of success for the MLPD.
Thank you for this women's power message. We're always talking about that we must become a force superior to imperialism through our international coordination and cooperation, through the step-by-step ideological political unification. And I think if we look at this stage, we know that this superior force is growing. It's objectively there, but subjectively it has to realize its role and its collaboration. The proletarian internationalism of the action, as Lenin put it. Thanks to all of you. Long live international solidarity. Proletarians of all countries and oppressed unite. Forward to international socialist revolution. Long live international solidarity.
Nationale Solidarität. Hoch die internationale Solidarität. Vielen herzlichen Dank. Ich kann euch
Thank you very much. I can tell you that not everyone came up here, not everyone can speak for understandable reasons because of state terrorism and fascism in many countries, but you are honorable representatives of all of those who are here from Ukraine and from other countries who do not have the possibility to speak. After this international,
Ja, jetzt kommt das Mikrofon auch zurück. Kommen wir jetzt noch mal kurz nach Deutschland.
Now we'll get back to Germany before we come to the end of the celebration. We have a number of greetings from Germany where we can only present a few and excerpts. One of the greetings of the League of of those against fascism. I'm a member on a federal level where I'm not on a national level. Okay.
Good. So, liebe Antifaschistin,
dear anti-fascists and friends of peace, my organization thanks you for your invitation to the 40th anniversary of the MLPD. Our main motto is that the promise of the liberated prisoners from the concentration camp Buchenwald remains important and valid today. And that is, I quote from that the destruction of fascism with all of its roots and the building of a new world of peace and liberty is our goal. In the past, again, we could always count on solidarity. We are very looking forward to this in the future. We congratulate the birthday child and wish all members and friends of the MLPD a wonderful event and further great success in the struggle against all old and new fascists and for peace. In this spirit, with anti-fascist greetings from the state level of our organization here in North Rhine-Westphalia. thank you for the anti-fascist greetings. We return these. Sarah Rissmann will now quote from the shortened messages of greetings here from Germany. To today's celebration, we received a number of very many messages of greetings, and you can read these hung up from our close friends from revolutionary migrant organizations. Hearty greetings from Tahir Köçer, former co-chairman of the Kurdish Kanmit. Dear friends, thank you very much that you invited me to this historical event. Unfortunately, I cannot take part personally. I wish you a lot of success. Azadi is the Kurdish auxiliary help organization for people persecuted. They write, what political struggle means is the MLPD knows very well. The state and media attack of the media against the activities demand political and legal resistance, and that the MLPD is very successful in this. In the framework of its internationalist party work and its support of revolutionary movements, the MLPD supports the self-organized projects of the Kurds in Rojava, northeast Syria, and gives very practical help. That is practical solidarity. Azadi wishes all comrades, friends, and those interested a wonderful celebration, interesting communication with people from the entire world, from art, music, and a love of life, in spite of everything, for the next 40 years. Greetings are also sent by non-party affiliated organizations. The national level of Solidarity International writes, last year, Solidarity International celebrated 25 years anniversary. In these years, we have many common projects together with other partners. The MLPD always respected the non-party affiliation of SE and cooperated on an equal level against all slander of the anti-communists. We'd like to thank you for this. The national leadership of the environmental union sends the following. In the struggle for the unity of humankind and nature, we are on the side of the working class, women's and youth movement. In the face of the threat of a world war, we must intensify our cooperation and would wish for more official relations. Please remain steadfast. We also became messages from artists, among them Gina Peach. She is an actress and a singer. She says, I was very happy that the MLPD has set up the first and the only Lenin up till now in Gelsenkirchen. And now these old Marx is coming too. Congratulations to your 40 years' work. In the spirit of these two revolutionaries, I wish you a wonderful celebration at a time where we have to join forces against the war. Johanna Arendt, a prize-winning singer from the GDR, writes, to the birthday of 40 years MLPD, I would like to send you greetings. It is a wonderful idea to set it up. In a time in which the two imperialist blocs from the East and the West are attacking each other, it is so much more important to join forces together against war and fascism. The regional leadership of the Left Party writes, wherever in these days anti-fascist, consequent opponents of war and supporters of social rights meet with the working class population, the left people should be joined together, and that despite the differences that we have among our parties. On this background, we have to think back to the Marxist thought of all those people who understand themselves as left. Therefore, we welcome the erecting of a monument for the founders of the Marxist mode of thinking. Another.
Dieter Lehmann, chairperson of the local Association of Sonneberg Chemists of the party The Left and member of the Communist Platform Saxonia, writes, "It's nice to know that there are upright allies and supporters for the demand for peaceful, socially justice and justified solidarity, society in solidarity. We admire your sticking and striving for the public honoring of Lenin and Marx through monuments." Frank Kuschel, head of the publishing house THK, Verlag Arnstadt, member of the Left, convinced municipal politicians, writes, "I do have respect from your work. I wish a stronger dialogue in the left spectrum, which is less dogmatic and carried by mutual respect. For our celebration, I wish you a lot of success and fun. And together, I wish for us to be successful in preventing the drifting of society towards the left, and that social justice is in the middle of, in the center of policy against. A long-standing cooperation links us to Professor Dr. Roland Günther, university professor, writer, and Janet Günther, a writer and social scientist. We have been dealing with the culture of the city for a long time. It is great what you have created in your city with your financially limited resources. A big varied house, a museum, a cultural venue with a worldwide philosophy, a square with so far 2 intensive challenges for thinking, Lenin, and now with the broadest spirit, our friend Karl Marx. Congratulations to your works. You created exemplary things. Our friend Hans Rüther from Gelsenkirchen, long-standing president of the Gelsenkirchen Sport Alliances and man of the first hour of the non-party affiliated municipal parliamentary association of, sends its greetings. Since the founding of MLPD 40 years ago, I did not only find the steady contact to MLPD, but also my political home. Until today, in speeches in the public, I always stand for that. I would like to quote Eric Fried, who, in my opinion, describes very good what I see in MLPD. Who wants the world to stay as it is, doesn't want it to stay. Unquote the quote of Eric Fried. Jens Baumeister, writer of the book How Wine Made Marx a Communist, asks, in my home country, Trier, the erection of the Marx statue, which was donated by the People's Republic China, also led to lively controversies, and this is a good thing. In this spirit, I wish all of us incited good debates and controversial discussion. Last but not least, the Volksbank, so Bank Pirna. We are happy to have been a partner bank of yours for a long time of your party's work. We wish you all the best and a lot of success for the next years, and would be happy to be able to accompany you also during the next time. During the coming time. Thank you very much for these greetings. We are already at the end. The best things come to an end, but our festival program, of course, is not over yet. I will go into that later. I would like to say thank you to everyone, all of us who came here, who are here, who helped. There were hundreds of people helping, 20 brigadiers who have been helping for a week. Neighbors, suit the flags, baked cakes, decorated the tables. A special thanks also to Clara and Harald Andre, who accompanied the project of the statue on behalf of MLPD to the company Rohr for the professional creation of the statue, to our constructors of the Vermögensverwaltungsverein who erected it, and last but not least, to all the many donators who in total donated 50,000 euros for the Marx statue, so they completely financed it. Amongst them, the biggest donation came from waiving part of the payment for Rainer Günther. But of course the program continues. Tonight, you can't miss it, the youth concert here on the Josef-Bücher-Platz at 8 o'clock. Even people who are older than 20 years can go there with a fire show and fireworks. We want to make it a really nice celebration. You can go there for free from 8 o'clock on Josef-Bücher-Platz. Of course, tomorrow we continue at 10:30 with an event of Stefan Engel on the Revolutionary Way. In the afternoon at 3 o'clock, we will have again the panel discussion with representatives of the Central Committee and all the accompanying program that we have. Soon we will have a service of Rote Fahne editorial staff who wants to have a picture of himself or of their loved ones together with Karl Marx. You can take a picture with a Polaroid camera there and take this home for €3. Now an announcement which is important. Everyone who's sitting over here, we now need to leave the street, of course. We occupied it for our event, and everyone who's not sick or has some back problems, we would like to ask all of you to take all the to take all the benches and the stools from over there. This is affecting everyone who's sitting there. All the benches on the corner and on the square. Please bring it over to the Josef-Bücher-Platz, where we will have the concert and the big celebration later. And then the chairs should be brought into the cultural venue, please. This will relieve everything, because we do everything in our own organization and don't pay anyone to do our work. I hope I didn't forget anything. I wish everyone a wonderful 40-year celebration. And now, in the end, we will have the song from Marx, from the Pueblos, World War Guarantee. Maren, welcome.
Frühling kommt, seht ihr die grünen Triebe auf den Weltkriegsbühnen. Glänzende Ritter reden sich in Fahrt im Kapuzenpulli und 3 Tage Bart. Der Frühling.
All this apologies of the war is raging around. The bosses are so happy. The economy is growing with war.
Wurden doch schon immer Kriege geführt, wofür denn sonst?
We've always waged wars for that.
Du sollst dich entscheiden, dein Herz für die Retter der
You're supposed to decide
für Baerbock und den beiden,
to give your heart to the saviors of democracy, to Baerbock and Biden's and the glorified armament industry. So they want us to decide to go to battle for Putin, Olaf or Biden. What you get is a World War Guarantee.
Garantie, Garantie. Der Frühling kommt, es blüht die Solidarität. Menschen helfen sich, weil der Mensch danach strebt. Doch fordern wir Frieden, lächelt Olaf arrogant. Ihr seid wohl noch nicht auf dem neuesten Stand. Der Frühling kommt und die Profite sprießen. Wer wachsen will, der muss kräftig gießen. Öl ins Feuer und alles wird teuer. Und wer zahlt die Zeche? Das ist die Frage. Wir zahlen die Zeche für Sieg oder Niederlage. Du sollst dich entscheiden. Dein Herz für die Retter der Demokratie, für Baerbock und den beiden und die glorreiche Rüstungsindustrie. Wir sollen uns also entscheiden in die Schlacht mit der Hofreiterkavallerie für Putin, Olaf oder Biden. Du kriegst eine Weltkriegsgarantie. Garantie. Wir sollten uns entscheiden. Wir sollten uns entscheiden. Kein Baerbock auf Putin oder Biden. Kein Baerbock auf Putin oder Biden. Raus auf die Straßen, Streiks im Betrieb. Raus auf die Straßen, Streiks im Betrieb. Schluss mit den Phrasen, Schluss mit dem Krieg. Schluss mit den Phrasen, Schluss mit dem Krieg. Oh, wir sollten uns entscheiden. Wir sollten uns entscheiden. Kein Baerbock auf Putin oder Biden. Kein Baerbock auf Putin oder Biden. Nein zur NATO-Kriegsarmee. Nein zur NATO-Kriegsarmee. Mach mit im Widerstandskomitee. Mit im Widerstandskomitee. Oh, wir sollten uns entscheiden. Nein zur NATO-Kriegsarmee. Kein Baerbock auf Putin oder Biden. Mach mit dem Widerstand, im Widerstand, im Widerstandskomitee.
Dankeschön.